All right. One of my followers on another platform asked me to start giving tutorials aimed at beginning photographers. And of course, me being the sucker that I am and a person that enjoys teaching, I decided, yeah, sure, I can do that. Completely ignoring where I might land on the Dunning-Kruger graph. But I do enjoy teaching. So I spent the last day giving it some thought of how I wanted to move forward. And I thought about this platform, thinking about YouTube. There are so many photographers on YouTube, very talented photographers, that are already giving tutorials and showing their methods. But I believe that an unintended consequence is that it's creating a lot of beginning or even intermediate level photographers that are focusing on a result rather than their process. Now, that's not to say that the result or the end game isn't important, but the process will get you the result. So the process has to be that thing on which you focus most. So I believe if I am to offer something different in the line of tutorials, I think I have to speak from the perspective of an artist and focus less on the technical and focus more on the art. Focus on that creative process. Which leads me to, what do I talk about first? What is that very first thing that a photographer needs to have? Other than a camera, obviously. And I believe that number one thing is self-discipline. The gumption to get off of the couch and move forward. Because if you're one of those people that gets stuck in that planning phase, that thinking mode, then you're never going to give this art form the time it deserves to properly develop your craft. Case in point, yesterday was 65 degrees. Now, mind you, I live in northern Michigan. I'm 30 miles north of the 45th parallel. We usually have snow on the ground by now. But yesterday was 65 degrees and beautiful. I wanted to go ride my motorcycle. I wanted to take advantage of the weather before the snow flies. I was about 45 minutes into my ride and just loving it because I hadn't been on my bike in nearly a month. I broke my wrist. And out of the corner of my eye, I just saw something that caught my eye, turned my head, and hey, that'd make a great photograph. Now, I could have just stopped right there, hey, that'd make a great photograph, and continue my ride and enjoyed my ride. Or I could have had the discipline to go home, get my gear, come back and work that scene and take the photo. I went home and got my equipment because I had the discipline to do that. Now that hasn't always been the case. There's been a lot of times where I've been on my bike and I said, oh, that'd make a great photograph, and I kept on going. Even though I had a camera in my saddlebag, I just kept going. Because of two things. One, the lack of self-discipline. Two, I couldn't get out of my head because I would see that and I would immediately focus on the result rather than the process required to get that result. I've got a lot more on this subject, but I don't want to end up having to edit a 1-hour YouTube video. But suffice it to say, you have the choice. It's either going to be one day or day one. You have to decide for yourself, are you going to be the person that's sitting on the couch thinking, one day I'm going to be a photographer? Or do you have the gumption to say, today is day one that I move my craft forward? And it's all about gumption and focusing on the process. How do you eat an elephant? Eating an elephant is a daunting task, to be sure. And the answer is one bite at a time. If you move forward, taking one bite at a time, eventually you will have eaten that elephant. Well, I hope you found that useful, or at the very least motivating. Moving forward, I've got a handful of ideas that I want to share with you, all rotating around you finding your own creative process and you developing your own unique style rather than showing you how I do things so you can copy them. I don't want you to be a copy of me. I want you to be a unique you. But anyway, a lot more to come. If you are interested in that sort of thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate that, and maybe even share this with a couple of your other photographer friends. See you soon.